let's discuss customer type. We've been talking about the customer satisfaction pyramid and creating an exceptional service experience. And to create the exceptional service experience, we've got to understand that person that's walking through our door, each and every individual. Now, when I say exceptional customer service experience, I'm not talking about creating Disneyland for every single person that walks through the door. You don't have to have a cafe in your waiting room. You don't have to have nice leather furniture in your waiting room. You don't have to have the best coffee in town in the waiting room. But you've got to understand who that customer is when they come walking through the door and give them an exceptional service experience. Give them what their needs are. So let's talk about customer types. Now, psychologists and sociologists group customers in 1,000 different ways. And if you Google customer psychology, you'll find all kinds of different information on customers, and there's tons of studies on them. What I've chosen to do here is to group customers along two axes. And I believe that customers are either task-oriented or people-oriented. And then they either prefer fast transactions or slow transactions. And if you do this along two axes, then you end up with 4 quadrants that any given customer can fall within. My challenge to you is to identify by quadrant what each customer that walks through your door is like, because this will help give you the tools that you need to create that exceptional customer service experience. So in quadrant 1, we've got a customer that's very task-oriented and prefers fast, quick transactions. In quadrant 2, we've got somebody that's also task-oriented, but they need a slower transaction. Quadrant 3, we've got a slow transaction person who's a people person. And then quadrant 4, we've got somebody that prefers fast transactions, but they're also people. They want to feel a connection. So let's explore these 4 quadrants further. And keep in mind that your challenge is to identify each customer that walks through the door, which quadrant they lay in. I would suggest that as we start this discussion in the next 4 segments, that you think about what quadrant are you in? How are you a customer? What quadrant do you fall in? Where does your spouse fall into these quadrants? Because that helps you learn to identify where others may be. As you move about town, as you go about your day, as you travel, observe people who are customers and be thinking to yourself, what quadrant are they? And watch the transaction and try to establish what their needs are as a customer. You see, too often when they come walking through our door, we see that person there. We recognize them as a customer, but we recognize them as somebody with a car that needs to be worked on. We get the information from the car, and we say, okay, we'll see you later, and we're focused on the car. We forget about that specific customer's needs. Remember, we're doing this because we've got to overcome the industry reputation, and we've got to overcome the customer perception of the 5 pounds of hamburger or the $1,000 TV that they couldn't watch. Okay? So that's where we're going with this information. As we go through the next 4 segments, be thinking about where you fit into this matrix and where your spouse or significant other fits into this matrix. Okay, here we go.